The most heartbreaking moment in the entire film for me is knowing the story in advance when we see them reunite and how happy they are to see each other and watching it and going, that's not gonna last.
Moses! Where have you been?
Rameses!
I took you for dead!
Look at you! It's gonna get real bad, guys.
Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Jonathan Decker. I'm a licensed therapist. I adore the cinema. This is
Seawright, professional filmmaker, popcorn eater.
Popcorn Connoisseur, and happy Easter, happy Passover, happy Holy Week, and for those of you who do not come from Abrahamic traditions, we've still got a pretty banging movie for you.
I don't know why you always have to be judging me. Because I only believe in science.
I'm amazed. We did a community post on YouTube saying, and we mentioned that we were going to do this film at some point. How many people chimed in and said, I'm an atheist and I love Prince of Egypt?
Yeah, one of my favorite films.
I'm pagan, I'm agnostic, but anything, but they're not Christian, not Jewish, but they love Prince of Egypt. Why do you think that is?
Because it's a damn good movie is why. It is insane how good this movie is.
Yeah.
It is beautiful, the songs are incredible, the score is great, Val Kilmer is Val Kilmering it up. It's everything you could want in a film.
Yeah, fantastic cast, and really, I mean, as far as being a biblical film, for those who believe in the Bible and consider it a work of Scripture, it's very respectful to the source material.
Sure.
And for those who aren't, it has a very grounded human story about sibling relationships and about conflict, reconciliation, or lack of reconciliation. And one thing I do a lot of in my therapy practice is I help people who are estranged from the people that they love. They used to be close, and now bitterness and resentment have settled in. They're not talking to each other, bridges have been burned, and they're trying to mend the fences or they're trying to figure out, how do I soldier on? Because I've got this big hole where someone I loved, there's an absence there.
So aside from the plagues, this is pretty much what you deal with every day.
Yes, not the plagues, but everything else.
Okay.
So a lot of you know the story. For those of you who don't, in Egypt, the Hebrew people are enslaved to the Egyptians. They're crying for God to deliver them and bring them to their promised land. And Pharaoh decides the Hebrews are growing too numerous and
We're gonna kill a whole bunch of them.
they're going to kill all the children. So Moses, his mother, and so she rushes to the river, puts him in the thatch basket that she makes, and shoves him upriver, trusting that he will be preserved by a miracle, because if he stays, he's going to die. And he lands. Where does he land? After going on the Disney Jungle River cruise.
He goes on the Disney Jungle River cruise and lands at Memphis? I don't remember what it's called, but it's the
Memphis?
Royal Palace. No, that's the literal name.
Is it really? Oh, is that where Memphis,
No,
Tennessee
Memphis
came
comes from Egypt. I think it was.
Look at that.
I think that was the name of the royal. Johanna James, friend of the show, will correct me on this because she is an expert in like ancient Egyptian whatever.
Hi guys, I heard my name. Alan, you're kind of right. Memphis was the capital city of ancient Egypt, and it's about 12 miles down the Nile from modern day Cairo, which is where the pyramids are in Giza Plateau. So well done. Also, the temple architecture in this movie is spot on, so 10 points to Gryffindor. Wrong movie, but yeah, over to you.
Anyway, it's the Royal Palace. He's there,
Right.
and he's a baby, and yeah.
So Pharaoh's wife, in the Bible it's Pharaoh's daughter, but Pharaoh's wife in the film sees this child, takes pity on him, brings him in, and raises him as her own. All these years later, Moses has been raised to believe that he is Egyptian, that he is a prince of Egypt, that he is brother of Ramses, and these two are a couple of troublemakers.
They really are.
And so they're having a good time, and Moses keeps getting Ramses into trouble.
You don't think we'll get in trouble for this, do you? No, not a chance.
So they're brought before Pharaoh, their father.
Why do the gods torment me with such reckless, destructive, blasphemous sons?
I love the shot that shows the actual Pharaoh, and in the background is the giant sculpture of him. Yeah, where it's just mirrored that there's so much expectation and responsibility that these aren't people.
Yeah.
In the eyes of the Egyptians, they are gods. So even though Ramses loves Moses and Moses loves Ramses, there's already a little bit of a wedge in there.
Sure.
That's going to be driven in further and will completely split them apart later. But I love the foreshadowing when they're having this conversation.
One damaged temple does not destroy centuries of tradition.
But one weak link can break the chain of a mighty dynasty.
So there's a lot of layers in the screenplay for quote unquote a family film, a kids film. What can you tell us about how it's written?
The studio did a lot of homework to make sure that they were going to accurately represent, the Christian beliefs, the Jewish beliefs that are present in the film. They tried to do as much as they could to get things to be historically accurate within, the story they wanted to tell, obviously.
Right. I mean, there's creative liberties.
There's obviously
which
liberties.
which they own up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does a fantastic job of building relationships where there aren't really relationships in the Old Testament. Brief.
This happened.
Sort of.
This happened.
Yeah.
This happened.
And in this, they infer a whole lot of relationship and build really compelling, really believable relationships. And then the voice acting from Val Kilmer and Ralph Fiennes is just brilliant.
We can take care of that. I will make it so it never happened.
Nothing you can say can change what I've done.
Well, and from everybody. We'll get to Sandra Bullock and Jeff Goldblum in a minute, but what stands out to me is you don't have a lot of animated, family-oriented dramas.
No.
No.
Comedies,
Stairs.
action movies, sure.
Yeah,
Dramas.
Musical.
Not a lot.
But like straight up drama, and this film is a drama, and it resonates hard. I mean, it's a musical as well, but it resonates hard. The dialogue and the voice acting just conveys such real emotion and real connection. And I think this is why so many people gravitate to this film, because unlike a lot of Bible films, there's genuine humanity here.
Yeah.
It's just a good story. Mm-hmm. This week, from Lisa's Passion for Popcorn, we have got...
This is the Easter special, right?
Well, it's called Island Passion. Which
It
sounds
tastes like Easter, though.
Which sounds kind of like a trashy NBC reality show.
It really does. Oh my gosh. Next week on Island Passion.
But it actually is very tasty. It's basically Easter egg.
I am not going to vote purple off the island because purple is yummy.
Yeah, purple's fantastic. Lisa's Passion for Popcorn. Check it out for all your entertainment popcorn needs.
Or all your trashy NBC reality show.
So Moses goes out into the city and he runs into Miriam and Aaron, who were his biological brother and sister. And of course, Aaron's terrified because...
This is a slave driver.
Yeah.
What if, did I offend him? Am I going to get beaten? Am I going to get killed?
And Aaron knows exactly who he is, but he's like, I'm not going to expect Moses to either recognize me or have mercy on me.
Right.
Whereas here's Miriam, who is exceptionally optimistic and cheerful.
And spunky.
And spunky. I mean, Sandra Bullock's kind of perfect for this character.
Really good casting.
There is a confrontation where she makes him face, we are your actual family. And these Hebrews that you've enslaved are your actual people. Mm-hmm. And so Moses has major paradigm shift, and he goes into the castle, and and his whole world is spinning. But here we get to another major point of division between real life siblings. Moses cannot undo his paradigm shift, where once before they were just cattle, the people were just cattle.
Yeah.
Now they're his people. And he defends one of them, kills a guard, flees, and Ramses tries to stop him from going.
Moses?
Let's talk about that conversation between Ramses and Moses.
Please.
We can do both therapeutic but artistic, but there's so much emotion there. What are your thoughts?
Goodbye, brother.
I mean, there's such obvious love between the two brothers. Moses doesn't want to leave, but is absolutely reeling after his paradigm shift and, accidentally killing this guard. And Ramses is just desperate to keep his brother, who is his own, for Ramses, I think the pressure of being Ramses II, future pharaoh, is enormous, right? Everyone else looks at him as the pharaoh to be.
Yeah.
And the only person in the world who is his brother is his brother.
Yeah.
He can't get that anywhere else. No one else can just be his brother to him.
Yeah.
He can't have friends. He can't have, because he's pharaoh. and so he's desperate to keep him around. We'll make it right. We'll cover it up. We'll, do whatever.
I am Egypt, the morning and the evening star. If I say day is night, it will be written. And you will be what I say you are. I say you are innocent.
And Moses is like, it doesn't matter what you say. What's true is true. And I look at this scene and I see something a lot of people try and do, which is, I love you, you're upset, so I'm going to fix it, right? I'm going to try and make it go away because I care about you. And you don't want me to fix it. You don't need me to fix it. You just want to be heard. You want empathy. But the fact is, well, it comes from a good place. I know a lot of people who are fixers.
Oh, I have done this with my wife so many times.
Right?
Where she needs to be heard, and I need to fix it, and nothing works.
You do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure? Because, I mean, I'll bet if we got that out of there...
Stop trying to fix it.
The issue is, when people are upset, we think that the problem is the problem. And so we're going to rush in and try and fix it for them. But they feel like we're being condescending. Like we're not really listening, and we don't think they can solve their own problem, that we're trying to ride in and save the day. Most of the time, trying to fix it is a good thing. It comes from a good place. But the right way to do it is to accurately diagnose what needs to be fixed.
Right.
What the person is telling you is not what you need to fix. What needs to be fixed is they are upset, they're hurting, and by hearing them, empathizing, and validating them, they feel better, and you have fixed that problem. And then they will very often fix the original issue.
Sure.
Right? And so if you're a fixer, it's a beautiful thing. Just redirect it slightly. Now, in Ramses' case, Ramses tried to fix it. Moses, it wasn't happening, and he flees. He goes into the wilderness, and he marries, and he becomes a shepherd, and he becomes a man of peace. And while in the cave, he sees the vision of the burning bush, and God tells him, "Go back and free the slaves. I will be with you. I will give you power."
Take the staff in your hand, Moses. With it, you shall do my wonders.
So here he goes, and he's headed back after all these years away, and he walks into Pharaoh's court, and his father is dead, or at least his adopted father is dead. Ramses is now Pharaoh. And the most heartbreaking moment in the entire film for me is knowing the story in advance, when we see them reunite and how happy they are to see each other, and watching it and going, that's not gonna last.
It's gonna get real bad, guys.
Moses!
Rameses!
I took you for dead.
Look at you!
Folks, if you're enjoying this, which clearly you are,
Obviously.
you actually want to check out the longer director's extended cut version of this episode. Here's our director,
Hi.
available on our low-cost membership site, along with our relationship courses, our growth guides, all sorts of perks, live Q&As or with the therapist, watch-along parties with the both of us, all sorts of stuff to meet your emotional and relationship needs, mental health needs, and just give you more entertainment.
Yeah, a lot more of him, a little bit more of me, more feeling good, maybe some crying.
So here's Moses, and he's saying, God says, let my people go. And Ramses realizes.
Good one.
And he thinks it's one of Moses'
He
jokes.
thinks it's a joke. He's like, oh, you Moses. Remember that time we knocked the nose off of the Sphinx?
Yeah. He's so used to big pranks from Moses that he's not even mad.
Oh, impressive. Very well, Moses. I'll play along.
Like, he's not even mad that Moses did this in front of everybody, because it's just Moses.
It's just Moses.
I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
But here we have a thing that a lot of people struggle with in their relationships, not just with siblings, but with friends and what have you, is one person has changed and the other person hasn't.
Yeah.
Right? We both started on the same page when it came to our faith or our politics or our worldview, and I have shifted to something else. And even though there's love between us, this seems like a bridge we can't cross.
I know a lot of people who, especially sort of in the current political climate in the U.S., you know, going either direction, have just gone, we can't see eye to eye, so we can't.
Yeah.
I can no longer talk to my parents, or that son is dead to me.
Unfriended, and I'm not even sorry.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing happens. And
Which occasionally is merited. Like, if you've done that, I'm not saying it was
Sure,
necessary, but like,
if there's abuse, if there's other, I mean, like,
or people whose views are truly despicable, like, sure.
I think a lot of people that happens to, they think, oh, their views are so irredeemably bad. It's like, well,
Yeah.
this might just be a perspective thing.
Well, and this is a bit more of a there's a bit more of a faith angle because this is a biblical film. Moses, in Ramses' eyes, has up and joined some whack job
Oh,
religion.
yeah, wackadoo cult. You saw a burning bush? Sure, buddy.
And what's so funny to me about this is that Ramses thinks that Moses' religion is ridiculous, but people worshiping me as a god is totally fine.
Completely.
That makes total sense.
Have you seen me?
I mean, you see, so Ramses wants to reconcile, but only if Moses sees things his way.
Rameses, look. What do you see?
And this is going to be a major wedge in your relationships.
a greater Egypt than that of my father.
That is not what I see.
It actually reminds me, we'll do Captain America Civil War sometime, but there's a line at the end of Civil War where Cap sends a letter to Tony, and he says, I wish we
agreed on the Accords. I really do. I know you're doing what you believe in, and that's all any of us can do. That's all any of us should.
So if you want me, if you need me, I'm here, and I'll be there, right? That it would be a healthy way for Ramses to say, Moses, we're not going to see eye to eye on this, right? I wish we agreed, I really do, but I'm your brother, and I'm here for you. So let's figure out a compromise, which I don't know if a compromise could be reached in this particular case, but in real life,
stop enslaving people, or no, I like having slaves. Not a lot of gray area.
But generally, that's not happening in our lives. Generally, we can actually just make room for, okay, I don't agree with your choices. I respect your right to make them. And I respect that they came from a place of intelligence and integrity, even if that's not what my intelligence or my integrity guides me to do. But Ramses doesn't go that way. So of course Ramses is now really ticked, and he says, I'm gonna up the workload for the Hebrew slaves. So now the Hebrews are all mad at Moses, who's supposed to be there to deliver them, and now he's just upped their workload. So they're throwing mud at him, and Aaron is kind of a punk to his brother.
So, Moses, how does it feel when you get struck to the ground?
And I love when Miriam says,
doesn't it?
Aaron, you shame yourself.
Because right now Ramses is starting to hold a grudge against Moses. And Aaron definitely does. And then here's Miriam, who comes to Moses in the mud, and she has every right to be...
Every reason to hold a grudge and be angry. And
yeah.
You abandoned us when you could have helped us, and then now you're coming back and you're making things worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you see that she does instead? Why is that so...
She's so forgiving and loving while still holding accountable.
Yeah.
It's, you have a responsibility. You have to fulfill your responsibility. Don't be a jerk while you do it. It's good sistering.
And to Moses' credit, he is accountable.
I did not see because I did not wish to see.
And he's like, it's not an excuse. I was wrong. And we do have to meet each other halfway. Now, what happens if you forgive somebody and they don't come halfway? They don't take ownership. They don't take accountability. What that means is you can forgive, but you don't have to trust. Forgiveness means letting go of bitterness and anger and not hating somebody. But you don't have to be close with people if you can't trust them. Moses earns her trust by being accountable. Mm-hmm. And he earns her trust by seeing things through. And she changes Aaron's heart by giving an example. And you can be an example in your family of what forgiveness, of what extending trust when it's earned, of what earning trust. You can be that example to your family, and people may follow suit or they may not. But you can stand on that high ground.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Okay, can we talk about... so then the plagues happen, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is so awesome. That instead of doing like 45 minutes of plagues, they do one musical number.
One musical number, and we're just going to get rid of all of them. Getting through all of it in a musical number that is a gorgeous piece, every single shot. I'm gonna go off on a little filmmaking soapbox here. Every single shot in this movie is a painting.
Mm-hmm.
The backgrounds are gorgeous. The animation is fluid and lovely. The way things are cut in the musical sequences is fantastic. Particularly the plague stuff is good. And one of my favorite bits of filmmaking of all time, ever, any movie, is the Passover sequence.
Yeah.
The design of that Passover sequence, visually, the sound design, the just haunting, very ethereal music that's in there, is.
Well, in the Passover, there is no music. It's just. Are you talking?
Well, it's sound design as music, basically.
Ah, yeah, that's very true.
It's just it's a musical, creepy, haunting sequence, and I love that they took the design, basically, of the creepy, ghosty power of God from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar.
It is. It's that mixed with the water creature from the abyss.
But?
Yeah. and just made it just terrifying and sad.
It's very sad, but it doesn't feel evil, and that's a hard thing to. It's coming in to kill people. It's
Very,
sad
very
for
sad.
everyone involved. So Moses, of course, is devastated, and he goes in. And Ramses had brought this on himself. We see earlier that he is so fed up with Moses and all this that he's gonna kill the Hebrews again, like his father did.
Rameses! And there shall be a great cry in all of Egypt, such as never has been or ever will be again.
And so the plague touches the Egyptians instead. I
It
think
comes right into Ramses' own house.
Yeah, and takes his son. And Moses is so... The scene where Ramses is cradling his son and Moses goes in and tries to put his hand on his shoulder, and Ramses just...
Leave me!
And Ramses is broken, and you and your people are free to go. But he looks at Moses with absolute hatred as he leaves.
Yep.
Right? I want to talk about where hatred comes from, because I don't think we explored enough. This is going to sound weird, but go with me on this.
Giddy up. I'm curious to see where you're going.
Hatred comes from love.
Okay. Explain that.
It seems paradoxical. We can only hate people. We can only hate either one, people that we first loved, because then we summon enough attachment and affection that if we feel betrayed, then we can summon hatred.
Okay.
So we either have to love them first, or they're a threat or a perceived threat to people that we love, right? So I may not know you, but if you're threatening my kids, I'm going to hate you, and I'm going to completely bash your face in.
Right.
Or we've been taught by people that we love to hate.
Yeah.
So if I'm a kid, if I'm a kid and I start out neutral, and my family teaches me to hate someone of another race, I now hate them. But it still came from love. It still came from, I believe the people I loved, they taught me this. Or I perceive you as a threat to someone that I love, and so I hate you. Right? We learn to hate because we're taught by the people we love to hate, or because you're perceived as a threat to people we love, or as in the case of Moses and Ramses, I loved you first. And because the betrayal runs so deep.
Betrayed me so much that I hate you now.
Yeah. So many divorced people, some get along really well and more power to them, but so many divorced people hate each other.
Hate each other.
Because they first loved each other.
Yep.
If I went on 2 dates with somebody and it fizzles out, I can't muster enough, I can't hate that person.
I don't remember most of those girls' names.
Right?
Sorry. I'm sure you're lovely.
And so in this case, Ramses now hates Moses. I didn't want to be the weak link that my father said I'd be. Because of Moses, the kingdom has crumbled. He doesn't see this as a humanitarian, I have slaves. He still sees them. He never had the paradigm shift Moses had. My kingdom has crumbled. I've lost my labor force. I've lost my son. And it's Moses' fault. And very often when misfortune befalls us, we look for someone else to blame. It's really Ramses' fault. Like, he could have prevented all of this.
Oh, he could have just let the Hebrews go at the very beginning and, figure out a new workforce.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Get to the Red Sea, of course, miracle, parting of the Red Sea, and Ramses is chasing them through, and the waters come down, and there is something so sad when the Egyptian armies are all drowned and the Hebrews are safely on the other side. It's just Ramses. Can we talk about that moment and especially how it's framed? I mean, I would say how it's shot, except for it wasn't shot.
It was composed. It's a composition like any other shot. But, him alone, tiny little speck on a rock in the middle of, a raging torrent, and then Moses standing, sun behind him, and the light of God is with him, and or the light of truth, or whatever you want to, however you want to approach the film,
or justice, or
any number of ways to look at it. It's just this sad, broken, small man. It's so poetic the way they do it.
And I love the sound design on it. Is Ramses' voice is distant. I mean, even his voice feels small and broken, and there's nothing left. You compare that to Ramses refused to let Moses comfort him. But when Moses comes out, and he's heartbroken because of all the death and destruction, and at the start of of When You Believe, when Miriam starts to sing to him, he faces her and he lets her console him.
Many nights we've prayed with no proof anyone could hear.
And then at the end, we juxtapose, here's Ramses calling out for Moses, and Moses says, "Goodbye, brother." And then he turns to Aaron and Miriam. You can love people and still cut ties with them.
Why can't things be the way they were before?
Moses loves Ramses.
Yeah.
But it's not a healthy relationship. It's not a safe relationship because Ramses needed to do things his way, because Ramses wouldn't listen. He wouldn't empathize. He wouldn't try and see things from Moses' perspective. Moses sees things from Ramses' perspective.
Oh, yeah.
He knows exactly where he's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the beginning, Moses is close with Ramses and estranged from Miriam and Aaron, and at the end they're switched. And the reason for that is because Miriam and Aaron forgive.
Mm-hmm.
They extend trust. Moses earns trust. He takes accountability. They allow one another to comfort one another, and they take strength in one another. I think all relationships can be saved. I don't think they all will be saved.
No.
And maybe not all of them can be saved. I mean, extreme cases of abuse or just awful things where it's like that bridge is burned. But a lot of times relationships can be saved if both people are willing.
Yeah.
But sometimes that doesn't happen. And just because you love somebody doesn't mean you need to have them in your life. Conversely, healing can happen with accountability, with forgiveness, with earning trust, with supporting each other and letting one another bring comfort. I know this is quote unquote a Bible film, but it's really a film for everybody.
It is. It absolutely is. It's not preachy. It's not pretentious. It's not, join our church at the end of the film.
Right.
It's just a great story. And I've learned an awful lot about how relationships work and how you can repair damaged relationships with your family, friends, siblings. Just, be like Moses, Miriam, and Aaron. Not like Ramses.
I will not be the weak link.
If you would like to rent or purchase this film, we have a link below. You can do that. It's on Amazon or something. We also have social media accounts. Have you heard of those?
Mm-hmm.
They're at therapy_cinema on Twitter and Instagram. We're also r/cinematherapy on Reddit, because we're Redditors now.
Yay!
Yay! Reddit. It's the front page of the internet.
So until next time, when Moses was in Egypt's land.
Let my people go.
And
watch movies. And take some singing lessons, because pitchy. Not great.
You're playing with the big boy. 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 Playing with the big boys now.
They love it.